There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Show. Hold on a minute, I'll try that again. That's the problem with the live environment. Hey, Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal Show live stream and podcast. That's better. And look, as if to prove it. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions I'm facing, every utterance that comes out of my mouth here, live on the morning show, I have to live with. That's quite a responsibility, isn't it? And talking of which, we have a new mailbag feature. And this got me hackles up a bit. Is that the right? So got me got me hackles up a bit anyway. Tony was brilliant, I thought, on Tuesday. That's our man in the Minho, Tony time, Antonio Barbosa. And he just, again, just like me, just uttered the first thing that came to him, which was, Portugal's going to be the 51st state of America. State of USA, says Chris over there on the mailbag. Let me just bring this up onto the screen for you so you can see it. So, morning, everyone, by the way. How you doing? Let's see who's here. Before I do this and share this with you, we've got Coach Turner and T-Duck in Salvation Air Forces with us as well. Who else has slipped in this morning? Owen's in as well. Pete and James, how are you all doing this morning? Nice mug, James. Are you drinking out of it this morning? But yeah, over on the new mailbag, which will be at Good Morning Portugal, let me just see what that is, /news-weather/mailbag. Probably just best to go to goodmorningportugal.com. Over there, we have Chris, who got a bit eggy about Tony saying that. Clearly, your show is not for this Canadian living in Portugal, for love of the people and culture. I left Canada to further distance myself from the violent and politics of the USA. Canada was once a peacekeeping nation. Now it answers to its US master. Well, okay, fair enough. All entitled to our opinion and happy to share and discuss these things. But Chris, really, I do about 10 hours of live streaming every week. And I can't possibly make sure that all of that 10 hours fits in with your worldview. So please don't think of not watching the show because of one thing one person says, just because you don't agree with it. But that's up to you, of course. Again, freedom of speech, freedom of movement. Don't say freedom of movement. Freedom of choice. So yeah, that's the mailbag feature. Other news on there, we were unceremoniously dumped out of the live environment on Saturday, early hours of Sunday morning for the Hello America, This is Portugal show. After your battery summarily kicked you out of your own show, we chatted amongst ourselves for about 50 minutes. That's great, isn't it? Gumpers thinking, well, okay, the hosts have gone. We might as well just chat. And according to Numbio, I didn't know about Numbio, a £1, 450 gram loaf of fresh white bread costs €1.27 in Lisbon. And for me in Ohio, says Thomas, the same loaf of bread costs between $2.76 and $2.94. So still some great value to be had. And going back to Chris's statement on YouTube, the idea of moving to Portugal for love of the people and culture, quality of life is still topping our survey. Go to goodmorningportugal.com/survey to take part in why you moved to Portugal, or I moved to Portugal because. And that'll be a conversation we'll be having with Santosh this morning at around 9:45. And I'm so proud to say, so pleased to say, actually, that we are welcoming Santosh in the first of our slots that is related to the Portugal Immigrant Network that we've started as well, broadening our connection with expats, immigrants from all over the world, including Santosh this morning, who's going to answer 5 simple questions. And if you're from a part of the world that you don't feel is very well represented here on the Good Morning Portugal show, this is a chance to address that. And Santosh will be the first. And you'll get the idea about how that works when he joined us at around 9:45. It's a packed show today. Cátia Lima will be joining us at 9 o'clock. There's a lot to manage this morning. Cátia, the great Beyond Lisbon blogger, Cátia Lima, she'll be joining us as a continuation of International Women's Day and talking about some awesome Portuguese women. And I include her in that category. So after 9, we'll be talking to Cátia. And I don't know if he's coming or not this morning. He's a busy fella. That rascal, the Portuguese, hopefully will join us at 9:30. And if he doesn't, we can at least play his little theme tune, which is rather marvellous. And at around 9:45, before we climax the show today, Colin Ross Jones will be with us, telling us about his pickleballs a little bit later on, with some of the glint in his eye, I suspect, if I know Colin well. And I'm going to be going to the event that he's going to be talking about in Caldas. So if you fancy popping to Caldas, having a go at pickleball, find out more at around 9:45. How's everyone doing? Before Santosh joins us, let's say a few hellos and show those lovely photos from Anna that I wasn't able to show you yesterday. Of course, Owen, your wonderful skydiving photos are now up on the Gumper blog, as is the travelogue photo safari of Salvation Air Force's recent trip around Portugal as well. Thank you both for that. Bon dia, Gumpers. I'm currently in Aldborough on the east coast of England, helping a friend empty her holiday home. Yeah, sad news that update that you gave us yesterday. I hope that's going okay. It looks over wetlands, and I was treated to the sight of a marsh harrier yesterday. Now, that could be a runner, couldn't it? It's probably a bird, however. And yesterday, you also sent us this video.
Just a small contrast from Madeira.
About the snow in the UK there. Friends and family sending us pictures and videos of the snow in the UK. Hope you're not too chilly over there. Let's see what Coach Turner has to say by way of God Squad tips of the day. We've been looking at injuries, not literally, thankfully. God Squad tip of the day: rest, ice, compression, and now elevation. The final part of the RICE acronym this morning: try to keep an injured limb above the level of your heart to reduce blood flow. Okay, that's a good idea, isn't it? This helps minimize swelling and accelerate recovery. The mind boggles with that sort of imagery. And lots of love to you, Pete. Or Irish Pete, as he described himself, Irish Pete, who broke his ankle, I think. So lots of love to you and to Isabel, Peter. You had, I think, was it an olive picking or olive tree maintenance accident? So perhaps you're following the RICE protocol as well. Great to hear from you. Sorry you couldn't make it to the meetup yesterday. It was it was interesting yesterday, certainly from a weather point of view. Here I am encouraging everybody to come to the meetup yesterday. This is what the weather looked like here in San Martino de Porto. It's another beautiful day here in San Martino de Porto. Come and join us for lunch. We'll be at Palmera between 1 and 3 today. Hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. There's the bay. Oh my word, looking a little bit grey and angry today. Still a lovely day, if a little bit cool, possibly rainy later. Ciao, ciao, bye for now. Blew me syrup right off, that wind. A deep thought today then. Thank you very much, T-Duck. It was at 8 o'clock this morning. Ball the uglier Gumpers, tidying up the studio and leaving a few treasures such as this with us. Tolerance, Dostoevsky here. Tolerance will reach such a level that intelligent people will be banned from thinking so as not to offend the imbeciles. Oh, harsh, Dostoevsky. Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky was a Russian novelist, short story writer, essayist, and journalist. And I think we move in and out, don't we, of those categories that Dostoevsky was referring to there. Thank you, T-Duck, for that. And morning all from the Salvation Air Force. How are you? How's France this morning? Has the weather improved over there? I just want to hear Carl pronounce that name. I didn't do too badly, I would say, on that. Let's see. Let's try. Yeah, throw me another. Let's see how we get on tomorrow. Pride comes before a fall. And of course, tomorrow it's a Fellamana Friday. Or to do that properly, here we go.
Fellamana Friday.
She'll be with us tomorrow with her amusing and educational videos. And of course, just generally being amusing and educational when it comes to the Portuguese language and culture. Portuguese saying of the day then. She'd be proud of us having a go at this. Não se muda de cavalo no meio do banhado. You don't change horses in the middle of a swamp. Have you ever tried to do that? Have you learned from your experience that it's not a good idea? Now se muda de cavallo no meio the meio do banhado, in the middle of a swamp there. Don't do it. Don't try that at home or even in the middle of a swamp. Who knew? Oh, Santos is getting ready behind the scenes. He'll be with us in a couple of minutes. Portugal has been a semi-presidential representative democratic republic. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Since the ratification of the constitution in 1976. So it took a couple of years then after the Carnation Revolution to get that constitution into place. With Lisbon, the nation's largest city, as its capital, the constitution grants the division or separation of powers among 4 sovereign bodies. Who doesn't like a sovereign body first thing in the morning? The president of the republic. Did you know I was going to pause and do that there, T-Duck? So the 4 sovereign bodies of Portugal are the president of the republic, the government, the assembly, the República of the republic, and the courts as well. So there you go. Yeah, Portugal does revolve around the legal system here, which takes quite a while, I think, to do anything in the legal system at the moment, as with some other things here in Portugal. How's it going over there? CEF becoming APMA, A-P-M-A, by the 1st of April. I wonder how that's going. But thank you very much for that. The Ugununu about Portugal there, the 4 sovereign bodies of Portugal. I'll test you on that later. Maybe. James is in as well. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz Quinta. A todos. Tudo bem? And a bom dia, alegria from Pete as well. And Owen. Bom dia, Carl. Katia, everyone. Katia here with us at 9. We want Santos. We want Santos. Where is the lovely fella? Says Pete. He's got his fans already here, has Santos. That's great, isn't it? Bring your fans with you when you come on the Good Morning Portugal show. Bon dia, everyone, from FU, the Facebook user. I wonder which one that is this morning. And João de Norte. Morning, everyone. Que tenham um dia maravilhoso. Thank you very much, John. How's it looking up there in Ponte Lima? Please, when you report in, give us a little idea of how the weather is for you, because eventually, at some point in this year, we'll all just be able to say hot and bright, won't we? But maybe not just yet. Who doesn't like Carl emptying his mail sack everywhere in the morning? Oh, Peter. And Antonio F is here as well, as is Barandi. Who doesn't like a full mail bag? Brits, the French, and even some Portuguese fellas like a handbag. Oh, that's a good subject for discussion. Anyone here sport a man bag? I tried it for a little while. I got some hellish banter from when I was in the UK. It was beautiful as well. It was an Omega little leatherette sort of clutch bag. And I thought this is going to be quite good. Put my phone in and a pen or, condoms, that sort of thing. And I got I think I jauntily placed a sweater around my shoulders and knotted it as well. Jauntily placed over my shoulders like a Frenchman. Oh my goodness, did I get some stick? Who else has a man bag here? I haven't used it since. It's a pencil case now, I think. Bon dia from Darren. Thank you, Darren, for the weather report from Porto. So sorry about the weather up there, but it will improve. It will improve. And Jean's here. Saudações do Carapaccio muito chuvoso. So it's raining. You see, Paul Richards didn't admit that it was raining. What he said is the weather might improve this week. Have a great time at the Portimao meetup. It's happening today with your hosts, Victoria and Jackie. Jack, bon dia. It's hard to explain puns to kleptomaniacs because they always take things literally. Oh, sneaky and nicely done there, Tabitha. Thank you very much. And João de Norte watching briefly. Does that mean he's watching his underpants? I must brave the wet and wind. Yes, he is. And pop down to Guimarães to get some new end tables, like you do. What are they, I wonder? And the rumble of thunder. John's definitely his underpants. It's the rumble of thunder here in Ponte Lima this morning. Let's bring him on. He brought his own fans this morning. Can't wait to see the lovely Santos, says Pete. Round of applause. And here he is. Santos, good morning to you. Hola, bon dia, alegria.
A very warm namaste to everyone, whoever is listening to us or watching us right now. Thank you for having me here, Carl.
Such a pleasure. Namaste to you. Igualmente. This morning, Santosh. So it was Lee, head gardener McGrady, who said to me, "You must speak to Santosh. We've got this new feature, Santosh. You're one of the man cavers. Obviously, Pete and Lee know you, and you hang out with the man cave from time to time.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you do that with those rascals?
I mean, these are very fantastic fellows. Actually, a group of people who we share the sense of belongingness, the sense for each other, whenever we need each other, and also a group which I feel much comfortable to go out with to share the things, to work together. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, wonderful. And are you in Lisbon this morning?
At the moment, yes, I'm in Lisbon. Yeah.
At the moment, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, of course, for sure, because I recently, I'm going to be in Lisbon forever now, I guess.
Well, that's the spirit. That's the spirit,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we've realised that with all the different nations, people from different nations moving to Portugal, our bandwidth has been quite limited, and it just felt really important to reach out to people from other communities who are moving to
Hmm.
Portugal from around the world.
Hmm.
And thank
Hmm.
you for being the first to talk to us in this way. And our first two questions, I think we've already dealt with. Like, who are you and where are you from? You will, of course, be Santosh from Nepal. Tell us, please, about your experience of moving to Portugal. Are you having a good time here? Hello,
Oh well,
who's that with us this morning? Hello,
oh well,
Bobby.
yeah, a little kid, a little
Hello.
one, yeah. The
Hello.
son of my brother, yeah.
Fantastic.
Hello,
Fantastic.
hello.
Hello, bom dia.
Well, as per my experience, let me start this way.
Sure.
I came to Europe in 2015, actually to Norway.
Oh, right.
Yes, yeah. After residing there, after living there for 4 years, I ended up in Portugal, and in the beginning, it was a nightmare for me because a different culture, different language, and people here are very reluctant to speak English. Actually, I found that,
Right.
and that was a pretty hard time for me. And of course, without the help of people from my community, it was not an easy task for me to settle down here, of
Yeah.
course. And in the course, I also found Lee and other our colleagues who are watching us right now, who help me a lot to know the process, the documentation processes. I mean, I had gone through all the nightmares that one goes here. I mean, to be to be honest, and it was not a good experience, but now everything
Sorry to
is
hear
so
that.
good, so cool. I love the weather, I love the people, I love the way food. I mean, since I also speak a little bit of Portuguese now, I already started doing that at my work, so it's going fantastic now.
Oh, I'm
I
so
have
glad to
nothing to
hear that.
complain. Yeah.
But a bit of a bumpy start by the sound of it. And Norway
Yeah.
as well. I mean, we were talking on Tuesday, I think, that what an amazing country would be the hybrid of Portugal and Norway, the Norwegian approach to bureaucracy and all the quality of life that we enjoy here
Yeah,
in.
well, I really agree on your statement. The thing is, they have flat organization system, flat working systems over there. And when one moves to Portugal, I mean, they have a strict, rigid hierarchy, and it feels really difficult and odd to get used to in such type of systems back again. So, well, it was a hard time for me. Yeah. For now, I'm pretty okay.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that, and that's part of what we want to do with the Portugal Immigrant Network. The pin is to once people have put the pin in the map of Portugal and have decided to move to Portugal, we want to find out about your own country, where you've come from, what you hope to
Hmm.
do here, and how we can help. Basically, how we can all help each other. And it sounds like that's working beautifully, certainly from a
Yeah.
man cave point of view. So, can I ask? Can I be a bit nosy and ask you what you hope to achieve coming to Portugal and to live in Portugal?
Oh, well, very nice question, actually, Carl. Thank you for this question. The thing is, I take Portugal as a hub of knowledge, right? A place where one gets to find himself or herself what he or she is good at.
Yeah.
And from talking personally for myself, I'm continuously looking for an opportunity where I'm what I'm good at and what I can learn more from the people here. So what I achieve here is a property now. I have a house to live in. I bought a property for myself. So
Right.
this is going to be a second home for me beside Nepal,
Yeah.
right? So after that, a place who will give me an access to whole world.
Yes, yes, yes. The
You
whole
know,
world. So this
the
is like
whole
your
world.
stepping off point for the rest of the whole of the
Yes,
world.
that's
Beautiful.
why. That's why. In the beginning, one might find it difficult to adjust to the system, to the culture, to the language, or whatsoever. Keep patience, keep working, make network, among the people who do you feel to be with, you will easily go through it, so it's a place for me, where who will give me access to the world. So yeah, I take this as an opportunity to be here.
Wow. Okay. So not just all that Portugal has to offer, but an opportunity to explore the rest of the world from here as well.
Yes,
That's
yes.
truly a global vision there, Santosh. So that's wonderful. So that's part of what you want to do while you're here in Nepal. And
Yeah.
can I ask you what you miss from home? We already have a question asking
Oh,
about restaurants,
yeah,
Nepalese restaurants.
yeah, yeah.
The food
Yeah,
is
well,
wonderful, right?
yeah, well, at the moment, obviously, never to forget my families,
Yes.
right? The food, well, of course, we have quite few Nepalese restaurants around here, uh, but still, the food cooked by mother,
Yeah.
I still miss that. And friends, of course,
Yes.
with whom I used to be together almost most of the time. So I miss them, the food, the culture, the festivals. As you know, that we Hindu people have a varieties of we are vibrant religion,
Yeah.
and we have different festivals that we observe together in family with friends, with colors, with lights. So yeah, of course,
Mm.
there's a lot of things that we miss.
Okay. And will you, in some way, with Nepalese friends and family and new connections here, recreate some of that festivity?
Well, we try our best to recreate the vibration, to recreate the vibe. But however, because here most of the people they go to work, right? They go to work, and it's difficult for some of the people to arrange the time accordingly. So, well, more or less, we create the vibe, so it's not a problem.
Good.
Anyway,
Excellent. So some of the
nothing
things.
to complain about. Yeah.
Well, no, fair enough. And I think I don't have you as in my brief experience of you. I don't have you as a man who complains about things. I think you're just talking, observing honestly some of the things that have gone on for you and how it was a little bit difficult
Yeah.
at the beginning. And that is one of the
Yeah.
questions we ask in this new slot. Who are you? Where you're from? What do you hope to do here? What do you miss from home? And
Hmm.
and in many ways, very importantly, what difficulties did you face as an immigrant coming into Portugal? And you said you found it a little bit difficult with the language and perhaps
Yeah.
some of the
Hmm.
that you had to go through. Anything else that was difficult and that we can help with?
Well, I hope this platform will be a place of information to all the people who are listening to, who are watching, and also to the authorities who are directly concerned to it. It's a very good question, actually. First of all, I would like to thank you for this. Well, as per my experience and as per my observations from my colleagues, from my friends, the first and foremost problem here is the language, of course, and the other one is the documentation process. Like, for example, the finance, the niche, the NIF, right?
Yes.
People who come here in the beginning, they don't know what are these papers and what are they used for, how to prepare these documents. And taking advantage of such foolishness, such silliness, there are people who loot them.
Yeah.
They take 300 or 400 euros just to prepare such documents, which is
Yeah.
of course completely free of cost,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And also to submit the documents to the immigration to save here. People are, they don't have access to the internet sometimes, or they don't have access to the computer, so they can't do it. I have experience with few people whom I helped personally with no charge at all, explaining them each and every steps on how to do these processes so that you will be legal in Portugal, so that they can teach other people, they can teach other person like I did to them, and
Yeah.
help other people, the other one. So instead of taking money and doing these things as a business, people actually can share the information, share the ideas to one person, and ask him to share this information to the next one. This
Yeah.
way we can create the awareness. And also about the house rents, it's very, very, very difficult, and it's expensive to get a house and apartments here nowadays. Might be because of the foreign expats or remote workers who are ready to pay as much as they can, but the basic salaries here is too low, so that is making even the local Portuguese people very difficult to sustain here,
Yeah, sure.
especially the case of Lisbon. It's horrible,
Well,
right?
you make a good point, and the government is in the process of trying to do something about that. So you make
Well,
a very
let's see. Let's see how it works. But this is a serious issue for now.
right.
Yeah, even
Can
if
I?
this even by this YouTube podcast, if there is some authorities listening to us, please
Yes.
take serious action against this. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you make some interesting points there, and I think it's a great idea for people in particular
Mm.
communities to share their
Also,
experience.
if you give me 1 minute,
Of course.
also I would like to mention one most important thing here, regarding the jobs, regarding the work. I
Yeah.
mean, people who work here in basically in low skilled jobs, for example, for in a restaurant as a kitchen helper or something, the owner of the restaurant, they don't provide them with the job contract, which is very important actually. And in most of the cases, if they ask for the job contract, they threaten them and they kick them out without the money. So in most of the cases, even I was the victim of that. So I even complained to the tax authority, but none of them took the action against him. So I don't know how this work here, and this is a very this makes me very sad actually.
I can understand why that would make you sad, and I imagine there are remedies there, and it's important, I guess, again for the community to collectivize and to come together to represent
Yeah.
themselves in the face of such difficulties. So let's keep this conversation going. I mean, one of the other things I wanted to ask you is how Nepalese people do communicate and organize themselves as a community, as a sub
Yeah.
community, a bigger
Yeah.
community,
Mhm.
immigrant community.
Mhm.
Are there good,
Well,
are there good networks, and is there mutual support where you can share that sort of information?
well, very interesting question, Carl. Well, we are almost 25,000 people, Nepalese people residing in the whole Portugal.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we are almost a big community now.
Yes.
We can say that. Uh, to join all the people living in Portugal, we have a common platform from Facebook, from social media. Of course, we come together to share our ideas, to share our problems, to get ideas, to find out the solutions to the things.
Yeah.
Well, and during festival seasons, what we do is we organize the thing collectively in a place, you know, in a
Yeah.
place so where people can join together and enjoy themselves.
What a lovely idea. Yeah. Superb. Superb. So there's definitely socials, and it sounds like there are some issues as well that could do with addressing. And
Yeah.
I think this is the good thing, as well as having all these individual communities from different nation states. If
Mm.
the collective immigrants, expats, foreigners talk to each other as well and share experience, I think that's going to be useful. And
Yeah.
that's what we hope to promote and share. So do
Mhm.
come back, Santosh. We've got a few comments before you go this morning, because I think you're off to work this morning. Is that the man cave tie you've got on there?
Yeah, it is.
Proudly wearing the man cave tie. Good
Yes,
morning,
and it is,
the
and
man
it,
cave
it is,
number one.
it is much more important than any Grammy or Oscar award, actually.
Wow, how do we get that? How does somebody get to be man cave number one and wear the man cave tie? What did you have to do for that, or should I not ask?
well, well, I really didn't expect this actually, but we had a family dinner on 25th of February, I guess. Yeah, on 25th of February. Then we all were together eating and enjoying our food. All of a sudden, Lee Gray, he stood up and said, "Okay, hello guys, we have something to announce." Yeah, he welcomed Eric, and then all of a sudden he also mentioned me that he's the one who. I mean, yeah, he's the one who made our Christmas Eve so wonderful that he deserves this man cave tie. Okay, this is for you, Sundar. It was like, okay, I didn't even expect this.
You
Congrats.
are
Thank you so much.
a man cave number one.
Everybody congratulated me, and I was like, okay, is this even a dream?
Oh, how wonderful! So, Santosh, the food is great. Going back to some of what the information you've shared with us and your insight, Santosh,
Yeah.
the food is great, but far better to have Momo balls. So, I'm a big
Opa.
fan of your Momo balls. Thank you
Yeah.
for all the effort you make to accommodate our little band of brigands. And a
Mhm.
serious and important question for you. Are there any good Nepalese restaurants in Lisbon? I believe there are. I've been to at least one of them. Have you got a recommendation for us, Santosh?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. If you uh, if you want the typical one with the typical thing, I would recommend you to go to the Nepal Curry House here in Alameda. It's a nice one as well,
Okay.
and also Diallo in Martimonis.
Okay, thank you for those. All right. I mean, you might. Can you send them to us? Maybe type them into WhatsApp, and so we make sure
Okay, yeah,
that we
yeah.
we get sent to the right place. Santosh
Mhm.
is what the whole community is all about. Genuinely lovely fellow who's always willing to help in any way he can. Well, it's great that we had you as our first Portugal Immigrant Network guest. Then, a real, I think you stand for everything we stand for here. So that's wonderful, Santosh. As a Hindu in a meat-dominated culture, do you find many vegetarian restaurants here? Good question.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, thank you for having me in your platform. It was my opportunity to express myself, to
Okay.
show the world who we are.
Yes.
We are only known up to now until now by the name of brave Gurkhas, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, well, uh, now we are expanding, we are expanding not only through the horizon of Gurkha, we are also in the IT sector, we are also in F&B sector. So we are expanding ourselves, we are trying our best, and we are honest, we are hardworking, and thank you for believing us, thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Oh, it's been so lovely to see you here. Another quick question, Bon dia from
Yeah.
Yuri Komota. What is the origin of your name, Santosh? Not of Portuguese origin. Is that like a traditional Nepalese name?
Oh, well, people often get mistaken with the Spanish or Portuguese when
Yes.
they first hear my name. But basically, Santos, I spell my name as Santosh.
Yes.
Yes. So though it sounds Portuguese, it doesn't spell Portuguese actually. Yeah. So this name is very common in India and in Nepal.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, good to
It's a
know.
very common name.
I am being asked how my Nepalese is by Paul. Carl, how's your Nepalese? Another challenge. So, yes, I can manage a namaste, and it's so beautiful, the Nepalese greeting, isn't it, of namaste? How should I say goodbye, or at least goodbye for now, Santosh?
Well, even for goodbye, you can say namaste,
Okay.
and to thank you, you can say dhanyawad.
Dhanyawad. Namaste.
Yes.
Santosh,
Namaste
so
and
good to meet
dhanyawad.
you. It was there, and hope Ateja, Ate Prosima. Hope to see you again
Ate
soon.
ja, senora.
Keep in
Senor.
touch, and let's see what we can do together as fellow immigrants, and see how we can make a good contribution into
For sure, for
Portugal
sure.
together.
Mhm.
Because there seems to be quite an upswelling of immigration, and I think it's important to have the conversation
Yeah.
and to
Hmm.
be united and in our positivity about Portugal. So have a great day, my friend.
Thank you so much for
Ciao,
being here,
ciao.
for
All
having
right.
me. Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye. Bye bye. There goes Santosh in Lisbon. Lovely to talk to him. Thank you very much, Lee McGrady, for the introduction. And we're hoping to have him back already. What a lovely fella. So let's keep that applause going. And we are talking about awesome Portuguese women. There's one. How are you this morning, Katia?
Okay, thanks. Good morning. Bom dia. How are you?
Muito bem, obrigado. Contigo?
Também, muito bem, obrigada.
Perfect. And we are continuing, aren't we? What a great
Yeah.
opportunity yesterday to celebrate awesome women in general on International Women's Day yesterday. And good timing that your day, it was just after that day, and we're continuing the theme. And you're going to introduce us to some Portuguese women we should know about, right? Particularly as immigrants coming in and learning about the culture, the language, and the history. What a treat I think this will be this morning.
I hope so.
Yes. Oh yeah, sorry. I hope we didn't build it up too much. So you're lovely to see you back here this morning. You've agreed to be on the screen with that rascal, the Portuguese, who I think joined us around 9:30. That was interesting last time. And honestly, I don't know if he's coming or not. So we'll keep
Okay.
talking. We'll meet these wonderful Portuguese women, and we'll see if the Portuguese
We'll
are rascals.
improvise a bit.
Yeah, of course we will. We always do, don't we? So,
Yes.
how was your part of Portugal this morning, by the way? How's the weather? And when's that sun coming, Katia?
It's cloudy, windy, not raining yet, but it rained a lot during the night. So
Yet.
let's see.
That's so positive. It's not raining yet. Okay,
Yet.
wonderful. And are you in central Portugal? Is that where you speak to us from?
It's Sintra.
Oh, Sintra, of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, beautiful Sintra, a magical spiritual place, of course. Yeah. Superb.
Mystic. Yeah.
And some of my other favorite Nepalese folks, the Sintra's farming family, are over that way as well. Some incredible people. So, good morning, Sintra. And Katia, good morning to you. And so, tell us about these wonderful Portuguese women that we really should know about.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, 2 little disclaimers, because we live in the edge of disclaimers, right? So.
Yes. Yes.
So first of all, there were plenty of amazing women, who did a lot of amazing things. Some of them were quite ahead of their time. I'm just mentioning a few here that would, for one reason or another, do not have the same type of fame that other women got to have. Like, for example, if you're a queen, like I said on the description, if you're a queen or a princess, it's easy to get, to be famous for something good that you do. But that's not the case so much with if you're not in royalty. Also, some of them are women who lived in the late 19th century, early 20th century. And so, although a lot of them did things that were groundbreaking, not just concerning women's rights, and a bit concerned with what Santosh was talking about, workers' rights in general.
Yes.
They don't have as much fame, so to speak, as other women. So I just wanted to highlight a few. Or in one case, there's one that I'll be talking about, which she's a good example of someone whose work we owe a lot to, not just the Portuguese, but if you see her photo, you won't recognize her in most cases, and even by name, most people don't actually know her.
Okay.
Some Portuguese do, but the English should know as well. And you'll Second disclaimer, just to state the obvious. We're talking about humans, so
yes.
They did good things, bad things.
Yes.
I'm not saying
right.
they were just good people. Of course they did some bad things as well, I'm sure, but we're all humans, so just don't please tell me that someone should be cancelled or something. No.
Uh-oh. So, who is it you're sharing with us this morning to have to make a disclaimer of that kind?
No.
You're absolutely right to do that.
Yeah. The idea is also to give just a little bit of information about each of these women. Okay, so and then I'll be sharing the names. I don't know if I can send you photos of them to share on screen or not through the chat.
Yeah, you can actually share them yourself if you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there should be a present or share button on your side there, and if you've got it on your desktop or somewhere handy on your computer, you will be able to share from your end.
I don't see how, but
there's a few little. I'm going to go through, while you have a little look at that. If you can, okay. We've got some great comments. Thank you very much. Bon dia says Ocean Dweller over in Madeira at the moment. I recently saw an exhibition of Lourdes Castro's art. She was very big in the 60s and 70s. This is a great subject. Well, thank you very much. However, I can't take the credit for this at all, but I'm so delighted to be here to hear Katia's. Well, it's Katia's idea, and I'm so delighted to be here to hear this morning. It's a big perk of this show, being the host, but I can't take any credit whatsoever, Raquel. Hope you enjoy it. And did you get a rose yesterday on International Women's Day? No. It was so. When I was buying mine, there was a 10-year-old in front who had 6 roses and 6 bars of chocolate for all the women in his life.
That's
Portugal!
Cute.
Oh, that is cute, isn't it? So that's wonderful. There's superb, lovely little story there. And look at this. Of course, it was a woman's idea. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So have you found a share facility there? Because if you haven't, you can always send them to me on Messenger or WhatsApp.
Is that
or whatever.
thing called says present with a screen and a plus that says present.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That'll do it for you. So
That's
you
right?
should be able to go in there. Yeah, and then you can pick from your drives wherever the pictures are and bring them onto the screen. I might have final executive function over it as the
Yes.
host, but of course you have a key to the studio. Do as you wish.
I think I see it.
Oh,
No,
and
I
some
don't.
news in from Lisbon as well. Thankfully,
Sorry.
Cátia is beyond Lisbon. No worry. Take your time with that. It's no problem. So it's good. Sometimes it's good to be beyond Lisbon. Antonio F saying, "Have you heard of the taxi strike yesterday in Lisbon's airport between 2:30 in the afternoon and 6 in the evening? Oh dear. They claim there are some fake taxi drivers scamming the tourists. That's shameful. As only the real taxi drivers can scam tourists." Cheeky. All right. What to do then, Antonio F, to make sure you can be professionally and properly scammed? Should we be asking for ID or something like that? I wonder. That's hilarious. Thank you very much for that. Suze is in as well. And Tabitha, don't go. Grab your breakfast and come back because it's an important subject this morning. Suze, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Fabulous. Joao F, keen to meet or glad to meet Lee this morning. How do you do? But by the way, love your sense of humor in the man cave. It is an acquired taste. It is like Marmite itself, Lee McGrady's sense of humor. You kind of have to grow up with it. or slowly just have a little bit each man cave and build up your strength in coping with bigger doses of Lee's humor. Smash that like button. Even the professionals, Santosh was saying, it's easy to give up. Even the professionals give up, especially when Seth is involved. I wonder if we will look back one day, Tabitha, and all of this will feel like a dream when all of those challenges are behind you. And Pete, Santosh is so right. The language is a bugger. The bureaucracy makes the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy look like a guidebook. Everything is designed to keep as many paper pushers employed. Well, yes, those are the words of a somewhat seasoned expat who's been here for a while. And hi, Joao F. Cold weather has made us both sick several times over the last few months. Right now, I can't stop blowing my nose. How have you been? Not just a weather report, but also a little health report there. And yeah, when Santosh was talking about communities getting together and sharing information, this came in, hire a legal professional, and others agreeing with that. And I think there's probably a balance to be struck here, isn't there? You know, certainly do as much as you can with mutual support, and maybe to dot the I's and cross the T's. You know, collectively you could hire a legal professional, because I think part of the problem there was the cost, wasn't it, of professionals charging quite a lot of money for doing things that actually you might be able to do yourself if you know how. And of course, that can go horribly wrong, as some people have discovered. How are you doing with the tech there, Cátia?
Not well. I sent you on.
Oh, you sent me them. Okay.
Oh, yes, on the messenger. Sorry.
Oh, yes. No problem at all. So our first then possibly is somebody made of stone.
Sorry.
I'm the same. I'm laughing so much here that he causes me to cough very, very often here. So yeah, who is this as I bring them to the screen?
Yeah, she was someone who lived actually before Portugal existed, but some of the things she did were crucial to what would later become Portugal. This is a statue that you can find in Guimarães, right in front of the court. And her name was Mumadona Dias. I'll just write the name here because it's a nice medieval name.
Yes. Who doesn't like a nice medieval name? Yes.
She was the daughter of counts, and she married a count as well. But all of this in the 10th century, okay? So before Portugal even existed as a country. And what she did was something which today would seem not a big deal, but at the time it was. Her husband died when she was still fairly young. And what she did was she refused to marry again. And that made her the inheritor of a big chunk of land, which is more or less a big part of what is today northern Portugal and up until more or less Coimbra. And
really? At the she inherited that lot. Wow.
Yeah, okay. yeah. So, and at the time, she became the most powerful / wealthy woman of that bit of the peninsula because she had all those lands.
Yeah.
and it's a long story, but long story short, that part of land would later be what we call the cradle of Portugal. There was some territories then being that belonged to the Moors, and then they were conquered back by the Christians. There's some going back and forth, but that was essentially in several ways a kind of a cultural cradle as well, but what would later be Portugal. Also, she was responsible for the building of the Castle of Guimarães as a defense system against people who were coming from Northern Europe.
Incredible. So what a
So,
woman.
yeah.
Is she also known as Padeira then? Is that why?
No. Padeira das Barrotas, that's another woman. I think she's fairly famous. I can talk a bit about Padeira das Barrotas, but I think she's fairly famous. I know why everyone likes her.
Okay. So I've got a couple of questions about Muma Dona Dias here. Presumably she didn't inherit the land with 20 cousins and struggled to sell it. In the way that people do in the modern age. She inherited it in her own right, by the sound of it. And is it appropriate for me to call Mrs. M Mama Donna? Because I think that sounds like a lovely way to refer to one's wife. Or will she be offended? Should she be offended?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. But it's Muma Donna. That's yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
Tell me how it works.
Yeah, okay, I'll let you know. I think you're saying that with a little bit of a smile on your face there to see if I get slapped. Okay, all right. Sorry, I thought the statue was of Padeira.
No.
That's not far from me here, actually, on the Silver Coast, Aljubarrota. Amazing place. Okay, so did you say you did want to talk a little bit about Padeira as well?
I wasn't going to, but I can talk a little bit about her.
Oh, go on.
I have no photo to show of her because she's probably a legend, although there's, most legends have some basis of truth to them, Yeah. So I'm just talking from memory here, so please forgive me if I skip some detail. So essentially, she was someone who, legend has it, was living in Aljubarrota, where, it's near you.
I have heard of this wonderful woman. Yes.
She was the baker, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. And after the Battle of Aljubarrota, where Portugal fought against Castile, the Castilian army, it was an epic battle, lots of Castilians, not so many Portuguese, but we had one, how should I call him? A military mastermind, let's put it that way, called Nuno Álvares Pereira on our side. And we won. And then what happened was that Padeira das Barrotas apparently was this sturdy woman, and she had her own business. We're talking 14th century. She was a baker, and she apparently found that, the story changes a bit from one legend to another, but apparently she found 7 Castilian soldiers hiding inside her bread oven.
Yes.
And then, there are some versions, some say that she just hit them with a I don't know how you call that kind of shovel that she used to for the bread, to put the bread in the oven.
Baking paddle. Let's call it the baking paddle. Yeah.
Others say she just closed the oven and turned it on, although that's a bit odd.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have one woman living in the medieval times, who not only had her own business, she was alone, without all the social, economical support of a man, and who managed to how can I say this? Well,
deal with
7 Castilian soldiers, although probably they were not in very good health by the time anyway, but still.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. And so to this day, I think I did hear of somebody going to a festa at Aljubarrota, and women dress up. Probably men do as well if it's a Portuguese festa, right? But certainly women dress up in her image and honor. And I mean that motif of a woman brandishing like a baking paddle like that and seeing off 7 Castilians is pretty awesome, isn't it? So shout out to Padeira. And I wonder if we can add anything this morning to that legend. Let's add some stuff to that. Oh, that's superb. Thank you very much for mentioning that, Raquel. So there you go. Padeira of Aljubarrota there. Thank you. Unexpected item. Superb. Okay, so we had a look at Mumadona Dias. Rather superb Mumadona Dias. And what time in history was Mumadona Dias? Did you say
10th century, before Portugal even existed as a country. There
Superb.
were several. I'm not sure if kingdom. Well, they were not kingdoms. They were like counties.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
there wasn't.
That's a cracking
Portugal
start.
did not exist at the time yet, and certainly neither did Spain. So that was before all of this.
Yeah, superb. What a fantastic start then to the list of wonderful women.
So next we have one woman who was born in Alentejo. Her name was Adelaide Cabet. I sent you the photo on sorry.
No worries. I'll find that on Messenger. So my wife might later ask me, why have you got all these pictures of women on your Messenger? No, it's fine. Cátia
said, ladies in black and white, no less.
Yeah, black. What are all those pictures of black and white pictures of women doing on your hard drive, Carl? You could be getting me into so much trouble here, Cátia. So here's the next. Who is this?
So that is Adelaide Cabet. She was born in Alentejo. She lived between 1867 and 1935.
Yeah.
So again, long story short, she had a rough start in life. She was born in a poor family. She started working very early in her life, and but she was really adamant about going to school and learning. And she finally managed to finish her primary instruction when she was 22 years old, which doesn't sound impressive, but it's interesting to note that unlike a lot of women, especially around this time, her husband was actually very important in the whole process. And the first gift he gave her when they were dating was a grammar, as a way to help her in her efforts to study. And he did a lot. They basically shared housework, which at the time was very much unheard of.
Yeah.
And what else can I tell you? Well, she would then go on. She continued her studies. She became an obstetrician, a gynecologist.
Wow.
She was also a co-founder of the Portuguese Women's Republican League. She was, together with one other woman that I'll be talking about, they sewn together several of the first Republican flags.
Incredible. Can we have her name again, please? Would you mind typing
Adelaide,
that?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Adelaide Cabet.
Not least, I mean, the clothes people used to wear back then, it looks like quite a victory every day to put a dress as uncomfortable as that on.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? Incredible, the attire.
It's interesting, like, for example, in the case of Adelaide Cabet, although despite everything that she worked on, and she was also very much conservative when it came, for example, to the length of the dresses and skirts. They should be no more than like a hand, above ground level.
Yes. So she's
progressive, but
that's a very interesting combination, isn't it? Okay. So an upholder of sort of traditional values in her own time, but a very progressive person and an outstanding woman as well, with a husband who presumably also had faced his fair share of criticism for being so supportive and progressive in his own way.
Yeah. Especially if I remember correctly, I think he was in the police. Wow. So something that's very, male dominated, and
I've got to
That,
go
that
home.
alone.
I've got to go home and tidy up the house so that my wife can study a bit more.
Yeah. That was it, basically. Yes.
Incredible. What a woman! And in that case, behind that great woman was a pretty cool fella by the sound of it.
Yes.
Good stuff. Shout out to Adelaide Cabet. Superb, excellent. And she's made her mark, presumably in medicine as well. She's a heroine
Yes.
among
She
in the
taught
medical.
as well, and she was a defender of the rights not only of women in terms of health and well, it had to do with how can we call this, women's rights concerning having a healthy pregnancy, a healthy delivery. And next we have, I was going to say something else about,
What a woman.
yes. Next we have Virginia Quaresma.
Okay, Virginia Quaresma.
Just
I
write
will download that as well.
Just wrote the name there. Virginia Quaresma. She lived between 1882 and 1973. The case of Virginia Quaresma, I sent you the photo, right?
Yeah. I'm just uploading it now. Another another wonderful black and white portrait here.
Yeah.
Superb.
She was born in Alentejo too, as well.
What is it about the Alentejo then? Is that
there will be more women from Alentejo.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Her dad was in the military, and her mother didn't work, but her mother was a descendant of African slaves, although she was already born in Elvas, in Alentejo. So we have here a woman who was not completely Portuguese. She had some African traits in physical. You can see here, you can see that very much, but in older photos of her, it's. I mean, I'm saying this because at the time, and given the fact that she would later become a journalist and a defendant of women's rights, being different just by the way you look was not easy, Mm-hmm. And to add to that, she was also and to add to that, she was also openly lesbian.
Wow, okay. So she was challenging people left, right, and center then.
Yes.
With their views.
Bam.
Yes, absolutely.
And she started out as in what we call the feminine press, a pink, press, and then she moved on to cover other issues like political events. She defended, of course, the women's right to vote, divorce, to access the same jobs as men.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's it. Long story short about her. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what we're doing, we're looking at some incredible women here in Portugal as an extension of our. We're extending the celebration of International Women's Day today, and there you go, Virginia Quaresma there, and I love these portraits as well. Having said what I said about Adelaide, I suspect they didn't dress like this every day, and these were the formal portraits, but maybe they did. I don't know.
Maybe they did. Yeah.
They did. Okay, incredible. All right, so and onward then. Who have we got next?
Onward. Next, we have a woman who actually there's a hospital named after her. She was Carolina Beatriz Ângelo. There's a hospital in Loures that's close to Lisbon that was named after her.
Yeah. Oh, another fantastic picture here. Oh, wonderful. Let me just bring this.
She together with Adelaide Cabet. She was sorry, I forgot to write the name here. She created the first Portuguese flags. They actually sewed the red and green parts together.
All right. Can I have her
first
name?
Republican, the first Republican flags.
Oh, there we go. Carolina. Okay,
yeah.
Superb.
She lived between 1878 and 1911. FYI, 1911, that's just 1 year after we became a republic.
Yes.
And that's going to be important also because, she became a doctor, but one of the main things I think she did was she became a widow. And at the time, the law said that in order to vote, you had to be the head of the family. and to be the person who provides the income. So
Yeah.
after she became a widow, that's what she did. She had a daughter. She was the head of the family. She provided, for the household, so she could vote. But of course, she was not allowed to vote because she was a woman. So she used a gray area there in the law to actually be able to be the first woman to cast a vote in Portugal. Then, of course, they changed the law.
This is what I heard. I heard about this yesterday. So she
Yeah.
managed to vote, and then those rascals changed the law so that she couldn't after that.
Yes.
1911. Not long ago, is it?
Yeah.
Some people here remember it. But that's incredible, isn't it? So how long would it be after that till the law was changed again? Do you know?
Well, it was after, I don't know from memory, sorry, but it was much
We have
later.
other
Actually,
researchers here. We have other
yeah.
researchers and experts on Portuguese history. So maybe somebody else could help us.
Then remember we had dictatorship. So I'll be honest, I don't know if we had another gray area there before 1974. I think not.
Right. Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Sure. But and this
My
is
memory is
Carolina.
was very, very good, and it's not what it used to be anyway. So I'm sorry.
You're in good
I'm
company.
being honest.
So this woman here, Carolina, was a colleague of Adelaide as well. Then, right?
In a way, yes.
All right, superb, great. Okay, your next wonderful woman, please.
Is Catarina Eufemia. She was also born in Alentejo. And
there's such an interesting pattern there, really, isn't it?
But then we're going north after that.
Okay.
So
Well,
there's a bit for everyone. Yeah.
It does seem to make for tough, outstanding people, I think, Alentejo.
Yeah.
So here we go. Our next, sorry, what did you say her name was?
Catarina Eufemia. I'm going to write it here.
Okay, superb.
Catarina Eufemia.
While you're doing that, João F says that's the importance of women in their community and their role in society. I have to mention my mother. She lived up to be 100 years old, saw the Spanish Civil War, World War II, and the world changes since then until she passed away in 2019. Yes, absolutely. In her time, she was one of the few in university, and she was a social worker for over 40 years. What a woman. Living, lovely to be able to honor her this morning. Thank you, João F. Living her life according to her own will. For her time, I believe this is quite an achievement. So, Senora Ferreira as well. Lovely to be able to honor you this morning. Thank you very much. And the law, apparently, allowing women to vote in Portugal was published only in 1968.
Yes, but that was during the time of the dictatorship. So,
yes.
like I said, I suspect it was a kind of gray area. I mean, if you're someone like, for example, Portuguese writer Natalia Correia, she was also an activist. She did a lot of things. I bet she votes, but most women did not get to do that because there was so much pressure from society to not do that, because that was a man's job.
Yes,
I had to change my
it's confusing, but yeah, absolutely. So Catarina Eufemia here on our
Catarina
screen.
Eufemia, yeah,
from the Alentejo.
her story is really quite sad, but she was important in the way that she stood up for not only her rights but the rights of the people who were working with her.
Yeah,
she and it's interesting to notice, at least I find it interesting, that she couldn't read or write, but her story inspired a lot of poems and songs. And there's this. I find this interesting. Sorry, maybe I'm just being a nerd, but I find this interesting that she couldn't read or write.
That's fantastic.
But her story inspired so many poems and songs.
Yes.
She lived between 1928 and 1954. She was working in Alentejo. She started working as a young girl. And one day she was leading a group of workers because they were demanding higher pays, bigger pays. And the story changes a bit because, in this type of situation, there are several people who watch it, but then the memory fails you. So there's some slightly changes, but essentially what happened was that the local lieutenant, he basically slapped her in the face, and she fell
Right.
from the slap. And then
Yeah.
in the middle of all that, he shot her 3 times.
Good God.
And to make things worse, she had her baby with her. You know, she was holding her baby.
I know.
So yeah. And of course, she became a symbol of workers' rights and of the people's right to fight for better wages and better conditions to work in. And I think, yeah.
And she was
I think
killed in this incident.
yes.
God.
Her funeral was attended by hundreds of people, mostly workers, of course, in
Yeah.
Alentejo. Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's an amazing story of, I think, of courage and how sometimes a fairly simple act can be so tragic and inspire so many people in
True.
their own fight.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's horrible, isn't it? You know,
This happened during the dictatorship. Mind
Yeah.
you, she died in 1958. So
Yes, and people feel emboldened in those sort of circumstances to act so horribly, and
yes.
I guess the best possible legacy from a horrible situation there. Wow. Okay, so that's Katerina Eufemia there. Well, I'm quite shaken by that, Katya.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is this one, yeah. But
absolutely.
then we'll end with on a good note,
Okay.
I think.
And this is, as you said, this is by no means an encyclopedic list,
no.
because we've only got a breakfast show to do it in, and I'm sure we could talk all day about the wonderful women of Portugal here. And what I will do is I'll make a clip of this, because I think it's really important to be in our treasury of recordings about Portuguese culture. Who do we have next? Oh
Next
my
we
goodness!
have
Okay. um,
another lady in black and
yes,
white.
another incredible portrait here.
We have Dona Antónia Ferreira, aka
Correct.
Ferreirinha.
Ferreirinha, okay.
Ferreirinha. Next time you drink port, raise a
Yes.
glass to her, because if we have port wine, that's in good part thanks to her.
Is that right?
Yes. You see her. I chose this photo on purpose because most people don't recognize this photo. They usually recognize a photo of when she was in her later years. That shows up in one of the labels. In one of
I
the
have
bottles.
seen her. She and I have seen each other in the supermarket. She looks out at me. I've seen this lady before, and you can hide a lot of port bottles under a dress like that. Can't you?
Yes.
Wow, what a woman! Right. So she's in great part responsible for the port drinking traditions of Portugal.
No. But for the simple fact that we still have the
Brand.
grape varieties that allow us to make port.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
So she was a vineyard owner, was she?
Yes, I don't know if you ever heard anything about the phylloxera that attacked the vineyards in the 19th century, all across Europe.
Okay.
And just a little bit of a timestamp here. She lived between 1811 and 1896.
Yeah.
And when she was 33 years old, her husband died, again, a widow. And she also chose not to marry. And this is important because, again, she inherited a lot. And although we believe today that she was not always very happy, let's put it that way, with having to deal with all the business and all the responsibility, but she did it anyway. And not only she managed to actually fight help the vineyards in fighting against that phylloxera. I think that's how you pronounce it, phylloxera.
Yes.
It's a disease that affects vineyards.
Okay.
And,
devastating then. And you say for Europe, right? Okay.
Yeah, several countries in Europe. Yeah, and I think she actually went to England to find someone, an engineer. I don't remember all the details. It's a long story. This is just a bit a quick recap. And also at the same time, there wasn't a lot of support from the Portuguese government. I see a pattern here. And
The difficulties of running a business.
yes,
And also
and
not
being a
much.
woman, no less.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things is that she did all of this, but at the same time, and I honestly don't think most people are aware of this, whether they're Portuguese or not. All along the Douro, the areas that produce port, not just port, but especially port, they back then they already were the main source of income for a lot of families.
Yeah.
So having if this phylloxera managed to actually destroy all the vineyards, that meant a lot of people would starve. We're talking
Yes.
about a whole region
An
surrounding the river Douro.
ecosystem, right? Yeah, like
Yes,
a small ecosystem, a
yes,
society. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And she was fully aware of that. So her fight was not just in preserving a type of grape and a type of wine, but also in making sure, the people who live there, those families actually get their livelihoods.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why she was so beloved and by the people. And in the north, she's like, I bet, right next to a saint in the altar, to a holy mother in the altar, because she was so
Yes.
beloved by the people. Yes,
Incredible.
she was a philanthropist in a way. Yeah.
Okay, and she's not the only one, is she, in the business of winemaking, to be an incredible woman as well? Because the Ermelinda
Yes.
company is women run as well, isn't it? Incredible, and I think
Yes.
multi-generational as well.
Yes,
And we
yes.
seem to, some people have some bad connections, very bad internet connections today. I think the recording will be fine. So if you want to revisit this, I think that's going to be fine. I'll certainly make sure we have a clip of this today. So that you can find out about these wonderful women that Cátia has brought to us today. I hope your connection is good enough to see this, which is, please buy a coffee for Cátia, so that she can keep doing work of this kind. Writing from the goodness of your heart and from your inspiration, Cátia, writing about incredible things to do with Portuguese culture. So that keeps you going, doesn't it? If someone buys you a coffee over there, and that's the link to do so. So
it's
please,
a way of showing the love.
It is. What better way to show love than with a cup of coffee?
Yes. I'll get them out to myself.
Yes. So superb. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Let's just do a quick run through again, if we could, and see if people can remember these names. So who was that one?
Muma Dona Dias.
That was Muma Dona Dias.
Dona.
And
Adelaide Cabeta. We also talked about Padeira das Barrota, but she's pretty much a legend, so we don't have any photos of her. Just imagine a big sturdy lady with a bread paddle,
with the bread paddle, whacking 7 Castilians.
Yes.
Okay.
Virginia Quaresma.
Okay.
Virginia Quaresma, yeah. Carolina Beatriz Ângelo.
Yes.
Catarina Eufémia.
Yeah. And finally this morning,
Dona Antónia Ferreira, aka Ferreirinha.
And they all get the title of Donna, do they? Because of is that how we would refer to them, because of their legendary status?
Well, in this case, she was born into a wealthy woman, so to a wealthy family. So it's also a way of showing respect, especially in the time where she lived.
Okay, wonderful, excellent. Okay, so we are getting consistent streaming now. Who doesn't like a consistent stream in older age? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that report, James. There, Cátia. What else is going on for you at the moment? You have the wonderful Beyond Lisbon blog, of course. What else can we expect? You did, and you have published there some of the work that you did around these great women of Portugal. That people can find out more at Beyond Lisbon. WordPress.com as well. Anything else you want to share with us today?
Can I publicize a bit of some of the work that I do with?
Yes, please do. Go ahead. It's the least we can do for you.
You can also find me as a regular feature writer for Live and Invest Overseas, and I can't share the feature pieces that I write for them, but I can share one link. So if you'd like to know more about
that, sounds like a really interesting publication anyway for our community here. So
I talk about several cities and towns in Portugal that are of potential interest for expats or future expats.
Perfect. Well, who better to write about these places than you, rather than see what often happens with these sorts of publications is you get copywriters living in other parts of the world who just pull all the stuff off the internet, probably from your blogs, and then write it as if it's their own. So we've got a real Portuguese person, and somebody with a passion for Portugal, obviously, as Cátia has, writing here at Live and Invest Overseas. So well done on that. And you're available for hire, are you, as a copywriter as well?
Yes. I'm a content writer and a copywriter. Most of what I do is content writing as a ghostwriter. So this case of the Live and Invest Overseas feature articles is one of the rare occasions where my name does show up.
How lovely.
So I'm allowed to share it.
You get the byline. Are you happy to stick around for a while? Because we've got the Portuguese who might be turning up at any minute. And now, let's give him a nice round of applause. And share that applause, please. Cátia, wonderful job sharing with us the wonderful women of Portugal, or some of them there, in recognition of International Women's Day. Not talking of International Women's Day, talking of Pickleball Day, which is going to be on Saturday. Let's welcome Colin Ross-Jones, who is a pickleball player. How are you this morning, Colin?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, excellent. It's a slight the internet is
yes, am I coming over loud and clear?
Yes, you are. And
let me go.
You're here to tell us about this pickleball event that's happening in Caldas de Rainha.
I am.
Saturday. Okay, tell us about it, and tell us about what pickleball sounds like. An embarrassing medical condition, Colin, but it's also a sport, isn't it?
It's the fastest growing sport in the world.
Is it really? I thought that was paddleball, but maybe I shouldn't mention paddleball.
I'm curious.
No. I mean, I have prepared a little history for you if you want to hear it.
I do. Do you know what I'm going to do, though, Colin? We've got the Portuguese. He's got a very busy schedule. Let's play his theme tune and bring him on, because he might have to go back. Are you all right, Colin, being with us for like 10 or 15 minutes, that sort of thing?
Yes, you get out of me doing some work, so yes.
Oh, excellent. Stay right where you are then. Good man. You're doing something really important at the moment. Let's play his theme tune. Easy good.
Easy good. Easy good. Easy good. Wicked. Portuguese good. Easy good. Easy good. Easy good. Easy good.
Very naughty.
Portuguese good. Easy good. Easy good. Easy good. Easy good. Oh, what a carry on.
What carry on here?
Easy good.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, what's this? Oh, really? Make America great. You're just like hitting the ground running this morning.
This is just. Yeah, it was the only hat I could find this morning. Yeah.
Good morning, Portuguese. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. My balls aren't pickled, so that's a good start.
Well, they could be by the end of this.
They could be by the end of this. They could be, yeah. Well, but actually, I'm feeling very, very happy today because I've been doing a bit of back of the envelope math here. The little bird told me yesterday there's 300 days of sunlight per year.
Who told you that rubbish?
Right. Okay. So 31 days in January, 28 days in February. There was 1 day of sunshine in January, 2 days of sunshine in February. So according to my math, it's going to be sunny every single day now until the end of the year. Are we about right there, Carl?
I think that sounds about right. And who do we complain to if that turns out not to be the case? To Portuguese on Instagram.
I think we have to go to the camera. Is that the camera?
The local camera?
Yeah, we have to go to the local camera. That's where we put all the.
And we have to fill in a report.
Oh, okay.
Well, we definitely have to fill in some paperwork. That goes without saying.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. Say the Portuguese sent you. That's our advice to all expats. If the weather isn't quite as you like it for the rest of the year, go say the Portuguese sent me, and I'd like to make a complaint about the weather, please. Okay. What else have you been up to, Portuguese? You've been upsetting people on the internet recently?
I haven't. I've been a good boy. I've learned my lesson, and
I doubt it.
You know, on a serious note, can I give a little shout out to a company that people might be interested in?
Yeah, of course you can. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a company called Ferramentas Pro, Ferramentos Pro. Okay, and they're based in Lisbon. Did I get that right?
No. In the last bit, it's not TOS, but TAS.
TAS, yes, that's right. Thank you. So Ferramentas I believe, just means tools. Is that right? Yeah. And I've been ordering all my gardening tools from them. They normally deliver like the next day or the day after. Really good value for money, and they're a Portuguese company. So it's we can avoid ordering tools from Amazon and this kind of
Well
thing.
done.
So,
Yes, this is Indie Portugal Thursday, so good shout there. Ferramentas. Would you be able to give us the absolutely correct spelling of that, Cátia, in the private channel?
Yeah, they're really cool. I've ordered, I think, 4 or 5 tools from them. And the one time I had a problem, they came the next day, collected the tool, and just replaced it. So really happy with those guys. Yeah, really happy.
So your top tip, if anybody wants to get their hands on tools, Ferramentas Pro.
Yeah, and probably when the sun comes out, you'll be able to use them as well. And it's going to be sunny every day for the rest of the year.
Okay.
According to someone I know called Carl. He's the one who told me about that.
So how is life in Central Portugal then?
It's fantastic. The other piece of good news is I finally got my trailer matriculated.
Wow.
I don't know if any of you viewers know this, but if your trailer will have a gross weight of over 300 kilograms in Portugal, you have a number plate. No one's been able to explain why, but that's just how it is. And it only took 5 months. So wow. I was very impressed with the service. A very strange thing did happen, though, when they finally sent me the email to say I needed to get the paperwork finalized. They said they wanted to meet me at the conservatory in Oliveira do Hospital. And I don't know about you, but I get nervous around posh people. And as we know, only posh people have conservatories. I put my tie on and, down I went to the conservatory, ready to enjoy a nice cup of tea and
cucumber sandwich, maybe
paperwork and cucumber sandwich. No. It's not like the conservatories we're used to in England. Not at all. It was a little bit more like Joseph Mengele's laboratory, to be honest. Shiny white tiles, 3 people who looked very angry that I turned up to give them some work to do. But anyway, I've got all the paperwork now, and I've got the number plate on my trailer, so I couldn't be happier.
Your little sunbeam there going around brightening people's days in Central Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugeeza, Tony, stick around. We're going to find out about pickleball now, right? Is a new thing for us to get interested in. Thank you to Colin for being here to tell us all about it. It's not a medical condition. It is a sport. And Colin has an introduction to it for us right now. Over to you, Colin.
Yeah. Hi. Yep. Actually, a year ago, I'd never heard of it myself. So, at the age of 71, to be able to take up a new sport was amazing.
Yeah.
And, it is. It's not too energetic, but it's wonderful fun. Pickleball actually started in 1965, would you believe, in Bainbridge Island in United States, when the kids of a family, Joel Pritchard, the kids actually said, "There's nothing to do here, Dad, on this island." So he said, "Well, okay, we've got a badminton court at the back of the house, an old badminton court. We haven't got any rackets. Let's play a game." And all they could find was some table tennis bats and a perforated plastic ball. So they started playing this thing, and it became known as pickleball. Over time, the bats got bigger, and they're now called paddles. And that's where the confusion comes with this paddle ball. Paddle ball has walls, and it's a bit like squash. You can play it off the walls, but pickleball is a badminton court with a net of 36 inches high, with 4 people normally playing. But we started, our club actually started playing in 2017 when some French people who lived in the USA came over and started playing in an old basketball court. And then there was 4 of them, then 6, then 8. And suddenly they found they needed to go indoors because obviously it can get a bit hot here, It doesn't always rain.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was complaining then as well, I think.
Of course you were. Of course you were. Hold on, some French people started and they let an Englishman in like you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. I know they don't like us.
Right.
But there you go.
But we love them.
This is the beauty of sport, isn't it? It's like hands across the net, I suppose, or across the court, and camaraderie breaking out. Fantastic.
Well, we started with one court in Thau in the sports centre, and now we have 4 courts, which is the full size of the place. But at the beginning of 2022, there were 34 members of the club. Now there's 54 members. They're not all equally active and not all at the same level, but everybody tries to improve, and all new people are welcome. But the membership base is basically, because of the Silver Coast, it's very French, Portuguese, American, British, German, Dutch, Belgian, South Africans. So everybody's welcome is the word.
Brilliant. So it's lovely to see you've got a swelling membership there, Colin.
Colin,
and
no volleying in the kitchen. No volleying in the kitchen.
No volleying in the kitchen. It's a thing about the men are not allowed in the kitchen in this game.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not.
It's the number one rule.
About? What is that?
You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to sound knowledgeable about pickleball, but I'm just over here on Google. And I've seen the number one rule in pickleball is no volleying in the kitchen.
What does that mean, Colin?
The kitchen is a section that's about a metre and a half, I think, near the net. And if
there you go, it's a yellow bit.
Yeah, where it's yellow on there, that's what's called the kitchen, and the ball must bounce in there before you enter to hit it. Otherwise, it's a foul shot. Yeah. All right. But for the first 4 years, sorry.
It's very Ukrainian.
Ukrainian flag, yeah. It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Like my shoes.
He'll be asking for money next. Watch out.
Easy now, Tony.
No. No, but for the first 4 years, we were the only club in Portugal. Now there are 7 or 8 clubs. Our thing is we want to remain a democratic sport. And our rates benefits everybody. It's not expensive to play. We're having a new location courtesy of the Caldas de Reines Municipal, and they're putting us in where they were doing all the injections. We're having that hall as from the 1st of April.
Excellent. And so we can come along and have a go, can't we? On this Saturday.
To attract new members, we have a full afternoon exhibition starting at 2:30 at the Expo Centre in Caldas, which we're at the moment, putting the flooring down, so marking the courts out.
Yeah.
There'll be it's at the Staples Roundabout for people who don't know where it is.
Yes.
So please come and Please come, have a go yourself, and see if you enjoy it as much as I do.
Superb. Comments coming in then, and we'll go to last words from everybody before we climax the show today. Thank you all for being here. The French tolerate the Brits in order to grow the American-originated game. That's about the sound of it, isn't it? Smash that like button and make GMP great again. Yes, you can support us at goodmorningportugal.com and make the GMP great again. And for the interests of political balance, Eurico, I'm going to go with Eurico. Motta is saying, let's go Brandon as well to balance up your baseball cap a bit there, Portugeeza. Thank you very much, Colin. A final word from you I guess you to extend a warm invitation to everybody to come to Caldas on Saturday.
Absolutely. We shall all be here. There'll be food and refreshments for everybody. And please come and try it for yourself.
I will. I will see you there for that for sure. Portugeeza, last word to you. Anything?
Well, I was just going to say it's probably something. Nazaret's not too far from Caldas, is it? So it's probably something for all the people waiting for the waves that never come. They can get themselves down to Caldas and have a go at pickleball.
Okay,
I'm going to go and have a go at pickleball.
There's 2 chapters from Tony the Portuguese book: The Waves That Never Came and 300 Days of Sunshine ? Did he just say Caldas Uranus?
That's how it's pronounced, isn't it? Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Well, so maybe we'll see you as well, Portuguese. Is there anything else from you this morning?
From me, I'm going to have to go, unfortunately. Judy calls.
Work to do, right?
Work.
Thank you, mate. Well, it's lovely to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice to see everyone again. And that is me.
Peace out. We love to have our feathers ruffled by you. Thank you very much. And finally, last, certainly by no means least, thank you for your celebration of International Women's Day, the continued celebration thereof. Cátia, there were wonderful comments coming in about the history lesson you gave us this morning. So we're looking forward to seeing you again already next month. Last word to you then.
Yeah, next month. I was just thinking about the topic for next month. I don't know, maybe something Easter related. I don't know. I'll think about it. Open to suggestions. So if anyone wants to reach out and suggest something. Also, I'd just like to say, the number of days with the sunny days, that's called an average. An average. Okay. Yeah, and this year we had a lot of rain. I was just like to say that. No, honestly, in right after Christmas, I was in the north in Jerez. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's like close to the border with Spain, and I was like for about a week or so, and there was a period of about 48 hours where it rained continuously. There were times when it seemed that I couldn't hear any rain. I would go to the window. Oh, no, but it's raining. It's just a drizzle, but it's raining, like non-stop. This is not common. This is not the norm. But, it's called average. So
hang on in there. Yeah. It's maybe a 25-year average. Okay, well, I've got to do these dad jokes while you're here. What do they call Bigfoot in Europe, everybody? Big meter. Try those on your kids later on, Tony. I tried to send a message on Twitter, but accidentally reversed 2 letters. Sadly, my post got urined, and my dog has got no nose. No, not that one. My dog floats in water. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
If you're American, it's a buoy, isn't it?
A buoy.
Why do you say buoy, you lot? Honestly. Okay, fantastic. Great fun today. Thank you very much. Colin, thank you, Portuguese. We're going to play your theme tune again. And Cátia. Brilliant. Wonderful. Buy her a coffee, everybody. Make sure you do.
Ciao, ciao.
Link on the screen. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Easy good. Weekend. It's Portuguese good. Easy good. It's Portuguese good. Easy good.
What a carry on.
Portuguese good.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.